much for leading this.
Great, thank you, Janet. Yes, so the webinar, like we'll start with the basics, but if you use foreign workers, it will probably be just like an overview and refreshment for you. And we will focus on the job bank, and these are those new advertisement requirements that are coming back after January 1st. I will try to do an online demonstration. So I'll go to my job bank account and show some navigation and some tips and tricks, especially for those that have been enjoying no advertising LMIA since 2021. So now it's going back. And yeah, so basically, like, I'll do a bit of an overview. We'll talk about job advertisement. We'll talk about job bank in detail, and just a few updates about LMIA online portal navigation, a reminder about employer compliance, and as Janet mentioned, she will talk about IRCC web form and work permit transfers or interim work permit authorizations for individuals that are changing jobs. I am a registered immigration consultant, but I just want to kind of mention that whatever is mentioned here is just for the training purposes, so it's not considered as a legal advice. And if you're not sure about your specific situation, please talk to your lawyer or to your consul. And again, like my explanation here is not a legal representation of your LMA application. Also, if you're going to watch this webinar in a recording, please be mindful that the changes are coming almost every day. So just double check with the original source with Service Canada website for any updates. And any images that have been used were created with Canva and some screenshots from the internet as well. With TFWP overview and the latest updates, I will go through that very quickly. We all know that TFWP program allows Canadian employers to hire foreign workers to fill temporary jobs when they cannot hire Canadians or permanent residents. In terms of the regulations, it is regulated by Immigration and Refugee Protection Act, Immigration and Refugee Protection Regulations, and administered by IRCC and Canada Border Services Agency. And ESDC or Service Canada Processing Center, they assess the LMIA applications, and also they conduct employer compliance inspection on the program. In 2024, there were 74,000 foreign workers employed in agriculture industry in Canada. Close to 40,000 of them were seasonal workers, so these were the individuals that come here on the seasonal agricultural worker program. And mushroom industry hires approximately 2,500 workers, so still a lot. And we see that in 2025, 2026, there is a target to decrease the amount of temporary residents in Canada. So we see more tighter protection of Canadian labor market, and also more employer compliance inspections and fines for those employers that are using temporary foreign worker program. This is just like a short overview of changes that came into effect in the past 2 years and will be coming in 2026 that are related to the mushroom industry. First is reducing of LMIA validity period from 12 months to 6 months. Just to remind that LMIA validity is the time, the amount you have to identify the foreign worker, and the foreign worker needs to submit their work permit application. So it's not how long the foreign worker can be hired for, when the foreign worker needs to arrive in the country. The validity ends the validity is when the foreign worker needs to submit the work permit application, either inside or outside of Canada. Another important update that employers are no longer able to use attestations from professional accountants or lawyers to prove the business legitimacy, especially for those employers that haven't submitted LMIA applications in the past 2 years. So, and also we've seen, especially for the employers in Quebec, even those that have been doing LMIAs every year, they do request more proof of the business legitimacy these days. Last year, we went through the consultation process with ESDC on the proposed new agriculture and fish processing stream. Janet was very engaged and involved in that. So currently it is under the review, as ESDC said at our last meeting that by the end of the year, we should hear anything. So far, we haven't heard anything. So again, like as long as any changes are coming, definitely the industry will be informed. Personally, I don't see any changes coming in 2026. Probably like if they decide to roll out this program, it will be happening in 2027 with the information like what's going on, how it's going to look like somewhere in 2026. And the biggest change that will affect everyone who is doing LMIA applications is that starting from January 1st, 2026, you need to provide a proof of advertising when you submit an LMIA application. Since 2021, like as a post-COVID policy, positions in primary agriculture were exempt from that requirement. So if you submitted LMIA after 2021, you didn't need to provide any proof of advertisement. I also want to say that it's not a new requirement. This is something that we had in the industry for years or forever. So employers had to prove that they are trying to hire Canadians or permanent residents for the jobs first. But however, the agriculture was exempt as a post-COVID policy. We will talk into the detail about that. Also, since you're going to be doing advertising, Job Bank now introduced a new feature called Job Bank Direct Apply. And this feature is every individual that is registered on Job Bank, and it could be international applicants, Canadian applicants, or temporary residents. They see your jobs, and they can apply to your job via the Job Bank. And it gives Service Canada more visibility, who is applying for a job, and more control. What are you doing to try to reach out to these applicants? Why are you not hiring them, or why are you hiring them? And also, unfortunately, the empty housing requirements continues for the primary agriculture. And we also see record high in Canada work permit processing times, like from 7 to 17 months right now. So that's why they have this interim work permit authorization policy. And as an example, the letters that work permit applicants receive after they submit a work permit renewal, it started as 60 days. After they give 180 days that you can still continue working for the same employer while your work permit application is being processed. Now I see the letters that have 365 days. So it might be even taking longer. And that's what's happening. If there are any questions, we will have a Q&A at the end, but if it's easier for you just to pop it in chat, do it, and I will be able to answer as well. Also, you probably heard about the new immigration level plan that was presented with the budget. We can see the decrease of temporary residents, and we can see that 2026, 60,000 people, 2027, 50,000, 2028, 50,000. It's hard to say what is going to happen in 2027, 2028, since things are moving so fast and so unexpectedly in the economy and the politics right now. I could probably say that more or less I'm confident about 2026, so 60,000 temporary residents under the temporary foreign worker program. If you go down to the immigration level plan, you could actually see that in the 60,000, it doesn't include seasonal workers. So those close to 40,000 seasonal agricultural workers are not included. However, all other agricultural workers are included in this number, and definitely there will be a reduction for all the LMIAs, all the work permits issued, just because the government is trying to reduce the number of temporary foreign workers. In terms of permanent residents, this is just for your information. There is also a reduction of permanent residents. However, like I would say that like what the industry needs to watch for is that one-time initiative to transfer temporary residents into permanent resident, and 33,000 people. So we don't know how this program is gonna look like, but if you have any individuals that are currently working for you and that would like to stay here permanently, you would like to see them working for you permanently, this is probably something to watch for until there is an announcement made. Again, there is a lot of speculation in the media among the consulting world how it's going to happen. The truth is nobody knows. Nobody knows how this program would look like. What are the criteria? Are they looking for certain occupations? Are they looking for certain rural regions? And so on. My only advice would be, if you have somebody that is working for you temporary, make sure that their status is extended, so they have a work permit, or at least they submitted an application to extend their work permit. And also 33,000, it sounds like a lot, but considering the amount of temporary residents in the country, this quota will likely fill in very fast. And it will likely be filling very fast with students, with the graduates, those that do this, have the skills, have the language, they are familiar with the paperwork, with the online applications and so on. And the agricultural workers might be left out. So for those workers that would like to use this program, my recommendation would be, as I mentioned, make sure their status is extended and make sure they have some basic paperwork and documents ready, like translation of their birth certificates, their marriage certificates, police certificates from many countries where they lived for 6 months and longer. Their passports are up to date. There likely will be a requirement for an English test, and I would say CLB level 4 at least. So this is something that they can probably start working on right now. There is no guarantee whether it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, but if this is going to happen, you need to be ready to submit it as soon as possible. So that's, again, if there are any questions, I will be able to answer later. There is a link to the article here in the Financial Post. If you are about immigration and the numbers, take a look at it, and you'll see an interesting pattern that, for example, with the previous government, the immigration level plan for permanent residents was close to 550,000, and right now the current government, because they didn't include those 33,000, they didn't include those 150,000. These are people that are protected persons, refugees that are already in Canada. But if you add up 33, 115, and 380, it will likely be close to what the past government had as well. So here it is a debate whether it's just the way politically to present the numbers, immigration level plans, or whether this is how immigration level plans are being calculated in the future, that people that are already in Canada, they're not included. So there is no point to include those people that are here. We're talking about this 33,000, 115,000. So we'll see what happens. But if you have any questions, I will be able to answer those, hopefully. Again, talking about the immigration level plans, what does it mean for agriculture? What does it mean for the industry? I can likely see the same level for SOP, since those workers are essential for the agriculture. I can see more scrutiny with the LMA applications, proof of business legitimacy, advertising. Very, very picky towards the advertising and the applicants that have applied. And the job bank. Job bank has been a nightmare, to deal with. We'll talk about it, but just for your information, since last week, they suspended their phone line. So now you can't call job bank. You need to send them an email, or you need to look for questions online and their help center. So the job bank is busy right now. What also I can see is higher refusal rates in work permits from overseas applications especially. So those refusals reasons we don't believe that you will return to the home country, we don't believe that your ties to Canada are too strong, and so on. Again, this is just as a general policy to decrease the number of temporary residents. Unfortunately, I do not see Agri-Food Pilot in the immigration level plans. I know that industry is trying to get it back and advocating for it as much as they can, but so far immigration level plan doesn't see it. So this 33,000 TR to PR, this probably could be a solution, but just a temporary solution. As I mentioned, this TR to PR program. And also we can see an increase in provincial allocations. Like last year they had like 50,000, now it's close to 91,000. So my recommendation would be talk to your province, talk to your MLAs and see what can be done to start the provincial program. I know it's very hard in Ontario, but at the same time, it looks like the Premier is like very open to like having work permits, having people contributing to the industry. So that would be an option, like, or that could be a solution for no agri-food pilot. And as I mentioned earlier, like a rollout of a new program for agriculture and fish processing, likely in 2027, but this is just my personal opinion. We'll see once we have any other news. Are there any questions here? Okay. LMIA process roadmap, like you probably went through this road in the past. I just want to mention that when you do your LMIA application, like the focus is on getting an application submitted. Like when we know our stream, we know the NOC, we know the wages, we have the accommodation, we have the housing inspection report. There is a lot of focus on assessment by Service Canada, answering those questions. Again, what I see with assessment by Service Canada in the past, the LMIAs were issued just via email, like without questions or just with a couple of questions. Now I can see employers like being called and being asked questions and being asked a lot of questions as well. And employer compliance, this is something that I would like to stress. So once you have your LMIA, once you have your foreign workers, like it's not the end of the LMIA road. You need to keep your records for 6 years. You need to inform Service Canada about any modifications on LMIA or do voluntary disclosure if you see that there is changes in the conditions or there is certain possible incompliance. And you're also subject to ESDC audits for 6 years. And 6 years since the first day of the employment of your foreign worker. LMIA streams for the mushroom industry. We are mostly using agricultural stream, so it's a primary agriculture position. The workers could be from any country, and yes, you can actually request up to 3 years of employment, but it comes with the condition. 3 years of employment could be requested only for positions that are skilled and that are under the high wage stream. I will explain it a little bit later. For other positions that are in the mushroom industry but not related to the primary agriculture, like we use high wage or low wage, but I will be focusing more on the ag stream here. For the definition of primary agriculture, if you want to get yourself more familiar, there is a link in the regulations, but basically it is defined as the position within the boundaries of the farm. It needs to include operation of the machinery and working with crops. And there are also certain NOC codes. For the mushroom industry, we are talking about managers in agriculture, agricultural contractor, farm supervisors, more farm machinery operators, and harvesting laborers. So these are the NOC codes that the industry uses for the agriculture. If there is a position that doesn't fit in this NOC code, for example, like a driver or like a maintenance technician, those positions need to go under the high wage or low wage stream. Again, this is just a quick snapshot of defining the primary agriculture position. We first see what NOC code are we using. If we're using the NOC code that I mentioned, like if the production is included in the national commodity list and mushrooms are included in the national commodity list, whether the workers are hired for 8 months or longer. For mushroom industry, it's mostly longer, so we're going to use extreme. There is a note that like employers need to keep in mind that if you're hiring someone as a farm manager or farm supervisor, like a non-livestock position, to determine the wage, you won't be able to find their wage in the National Commodity List wage tables. You need to go to Job Bank to find the prevailing wage, which is a median wage for this position in your economic region. And if median wage for this position in your economic regions has an A, so it's not available, you need to go level up and see for the median wage in the province. And if the provincial wage is not available, you need to go and see for Canada. But most of the provinces have that wage. And the wage update took place on November 19th. And I've noticed, especially like in BC, there was a change, like farm supervisor wage bumped from, I think from 22 to 26 as a median wage. So just keep in mind and remember that. Work permit processing time. I can see that there is a chat about the processing times. Again, Janet will like mention about like what you can do with in Canada processing times. That takes very, very, very long right now. So there is this interim work permit work authorization that is like most of the applicants can get. But if you're hiring from overseas, you can see like it's quite reasonable, and for the most time, like I can see that the processing time that is published on the website, they are accurate. So 6 weeks for Philippines, 10 weeks Vietnam, Thailand 5 weeks, and Mexico 2 weeks. So quite reasonable. Again, if you experience it differently, let us know. Like it would be great to know that, or share your experience. What I also would like to see that mentioned that those published guidelines for the processing time is a good thing for you if, for example, you're hiring someone from Philippines and the processing time exceeded the official processing time of 6 weeks. That's when you can start actually getting your MP involved. Like sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. If you do it earlier, it likely won't, like you will hear the answer that the processing time hasn't exceeded the average processing time, but if it's exceeded, they may start moving on that a little bit. LMIA processing time, it is kind of increasing slowly. Agricultural stream 16 days. It used to be 14 or 12 days. Again, I think it's probably like a lot of applications are being submitted by December 31st. So they're probably like just having more applications right now. Again, Christmas break, but usually, again, this is accurate and this is time and business days. There is a link, like you can take a look. Usually it's updated like every month or so. And yeah, like again, the processing time doesn't include those advertising requirements that will be required after the January 1st. And this is extra 2 weeks for your LMIA preparation process. Any questions here? Okay, so job advertisement and job bank updates. For the primary agriculture, like this is the requirement from the website and partially from the internal policies of Service Canada, you need to advertise for 14 days starting from the first day the ad appears. So that's how long the ad must be running before you can submit your LMA application. The job advertisement must be accessible to general public within like 3 months prior to the submission of LMIA. So any advertisement that you run like 3 months prior for 2 weeks theoretically can be eligible, but only theoretically. I will explain later why. The advertisement, one advertisement must be posted on Job Bank. Like in BC, Quebec, you can also advertise on like Sask Jobs. I still recommend to post on Job Bank. You need to use direct apply function. It is enabled by default. Again, I will show you when we do the demo, but make sure that your direct apply function works and you actually need to contact all the applicants that submitted their resumes via direct apply within the first 21 days. like I will provide some best practices. I would recommend to do it on a weekly basis at least, but like the guidance or requirement from job bank is 21 days. And employers also need to run at least one additional advertisement that is consistent with the normal business practice or normal occupation, that is consistent for the industry. And as an example, like what Service Canada is suggested is recognized in internet employment sites like Indeed, Careers, right? Like legitimate like websites that are accessible for public, and in order for someone to apply for the job, they don't need to pay any fees and so on. It could be local and regional newspapers and newsletters. It could be ethnic newspapers and internet sites, again, that are more like you can see that like it has visitors, you can see who owns this website. It could be like local stores, places of worships, community resource centers, settlement organizations, and regional employment centers. So you can be creative with your job advertisement. My recommendation would be job bank is a must. And since you need to have at least one, do at least two or even more. So in case the officer that is assessing your application would see that for some reason this advertisement like didn't reach general public or wasn't like consistent with your practice to hire and so on, you still have at least another one or maybe another one that could satisfy them, so that you don't need to resubmit your application, re-advertise again. So that's kind of like do more, right? I know that there was a question, can we do a Facebook advertisement? Can we do a Kijiji advertisement? So the answer from the internal policies, yes, you can still do those advertisements, but the advertisement that are not on the job board or job websites would be grouped into like one practice or like one method. For example, like advertisement on Facebook and Kijiji would be considered as like one advertisement. Yeah, so I also recommend when you do those advertisements like Indeed, job bank, save screenshot from the date when you start and like a time post, and share like the URL, like so that like where this advertisement has been posted. Another practice, like, and you probably all use it, is use alternative email address for all the incoming resumes. Since you are advertising nationally, job bank works with several websites, so all the advertisement is going to be after populated all over the internet, and you will likely be swarmed with the applications from like East Asia, from all over the world, asking like to get you a job, to get a job. So like and you only need to focus on Canadians and permanent residents. Job advertisement for agricultural stream must not be ongoing until the LMA decision is made. So you advertised for 14 days, you can suspend or close your advertisement, and you can submit your LMIA. Some employers do that. I've done it in the past. Some feel more comfortable to have an ongoing advertisement on job bank. So in case something is wrong with the LMIA, something is wrong with the other advertising methods, they don't need to start the advertising again. So they can still kind of carry it until the decision is made. And it's up to you. If you feel more comfortable with that, please do so. The only thing that you need to keep in mind that since the time you submitted your LMIA application till the time the application is assessed, and say 16 business days, like 3 weeks, right? There will be a number of applications from Canadians and permanent residents that you will receive, and you will likely be asked at the time of the assessment, have you received any more applications? Provide me a summary. So just, you need to continue keeping track of that if you choose to have your advertising running. Am I moving too fast? Is everything clear? Okay, so Job Bank. Job Bank is an employment website that is operated by Employment and Social Development Canada, and they advertise on behalf of Canada Employment Insurance Commissions. So basically, it's an online database of job listings in Canada. I don't find it very user-friendly database, how the job listings and job postings are displayed, but it is what it is. They have over 100,000 advertisements a month. There are over 300,000 employers registered, and like the job posting views are like for 15 million a month. And again, like that's not only Canadian, everyone from all over the world, including people that would like to come to Canada, are looking at those job advertisements. When I mentioned that when you post your job ad on the job bank, it will be all over the internet. And that's because Job Bank has integrations with major career websites like Indeed. Like even if you start Googling like mushroom jobs in Canada, like this, like Google, like job advertisement, LinkedIn, careers and food, ag careers. So it's kind of pulled on those websites as well. So that's why, like, for example, I have clients that advertised 2 or 3 years ago and they're still receiving applications just because like some like website picked the job bank ad and it's still there. Just kind of be aware of that as well. At the same time, these integrations give you a good idea what could be the alternative method of advertisement. The fact that the job bank ad will be pulled to this website doesn't mean that you're advertising in two like methods or in two resources. You need to do a separate advertisement, but like Indeed is considered like a good legitimate website. It's confusing, especially paid advertising. Ag Careers is great for the industry, especially if you're advertising for farm manager, farm supervisor position, GP, so ZipRecruiter. So like you can like probably get some ideas where you can advertise. Another tips of on Job Bank, if you're lately not familiar with Job Bank, like you all have Job Bank's account if you're doing LMIA online, since you're using your Job Bank login information to actually access your LMIA online. But once you start doing the advertisement, remember that like what's happening right now is the job bank wants a primary user on your account to be a person who is a director of the company registered with the Canada Revenue Agency. And if it's not, if it's an admin person or an HR administrator who is a primary user on the job bank account, the job advertisement will be automatically canceled. So my recommendation would be like, you don't need to advertise right now, but just double check that. And the way to do it, probably go to your accountant and ask who is a director of the company, who represents the company with Canada Revenue Agency, because the directors are personally liable for unpaid wages, unpaid payroll, source deductions, and so on. So there should be a person, one individual, and this one individual, they might be super busy and not interested to do that, but unfortunately they have to. They need to create a personal job bank account using their social insurance number. It must be a plus account. And after that, whoever has access to the job bank needs to look up this individual via the email address they used for their personal account and add them to the job bank account. I'll do a demonstration like quickly how to do it. It's not that hard, but it needs to be done. Because what also like the advertisement will be suspended and you will not even know that, like as the job bank just doesn't inform you about that. Janet?
Oh, hi. I was just going to sort of ask a question or just bring up at this point that we've been sort of advocating and suggesting that the temporary foreign worker program help the farm employers with these technical aspects that Victoria is talking about that we think could be problematic because they're very tricky. So that will be coming in January, that we're going to get something directly from the temporary foreign worker program on that. So watch for that. Plus, we're going to have a second webinar to address things, as they're happening in January with Victoria.
Yeah.
Okay, back to you, Victoria. Thanks so
Yeah,
much.
thank you. Yeah, we'll have a registration like was what Janet, like just to kind of mirror what Janet is saying. We contacted the job bank because it is confusing even for me as a consultant that like knows how to navigate the job bank. So we asked the job bank team actually come and talk to the industry, and answer the questions, maybe troubleshoot something. They agreed to do it on January 13th. I will have a link for the registration. So this is something that might be helpful to you as well. But going about the job bank. So first, make sure, double check that the primary officer is a director who is registered with Canada Revenue Agency. It may take you time to get this all straightened out. I have employers that have been waiting for 7 or 8 weeks from the job bank to hear back. So it may take time. Again, 7 or 8 weeks, everybody probably would know if I have to wait for that, but some people are more patient. Make sure that this is done before you start your advertising. And also, as an example, the job bank, and that would be a question for January 13th, they're very selective whom they inform about what's happening with the account, how they send the messages. And if you ever worked with job bank, you would receive an email, there was a change made in your job advertisement or a new user was added to your account. So now these major messages, they only come to the primary user email address, to that CEO or director who is super busy and doesn't check that email, doesn't pay attention to that. So my recommendation, I will show it as well, is log into your job bank regularly, every second day, every week, whatever you're comfortable, and check the notification tab to see for any updates or any important messages. So what else could I say? For the company, I also recommend, except that director, to have at least 2 or 3 users from the business to be able to access job bank. So in case someone is away, someone is no longer with the company, you don't want to lose that access. So just make sure that there are couple of people and there is a continuity in using the job bank. And also do not deactivate direct apply function. I will show you how it works. The new job bank posting, we'll go through that, but I'll just show some, it's a very, it's a simple process, only 6 steps. I find the job postings at job bank are not very job seeker friendly, because you can't get a description of the company. You can't have you can only select what they choose, what they feed you with, right? Working conditions, working requirements, and so on. You can't use your own words, but unfortunately this is the way it is. You can still do different and do more company customized job advertisement in the other sources as well. So basically it's a 6-step process. It's quite straightforward. We'll go through that. When you do move to the step number 6, you will have use direct apply, and that will say, yes, I want to keep the direct apply. No, I don't want to have a direct apply. So you need to make sure that there is, yes, I want to keep a direct apply. Again, I'll show it on the job bank. And job matching mode, it's not required for the agriculture as for now, officially, but make sure you have that default job match functions, as you may need it in the future as well. And when you go to the, once your job ad is posting, in order to see who submitted to your job via direct apply, you need to go to applications and matches, choose the job, and look at the resumes. Again, I'll show you how to do it. You must review review the resumes within the first 21 days, because otherwise the job bank will notice it, and again, the job advertisement will be suspended. Also, job seekers, and it's an interesting way, when a job seeker is submitting a job, an application via direct apply, there is a kind of a function, or there is an option for them. If they see that this must be a problematic job ad, or employer is not responding to them, they can actually report your job ad, and the job bank will kind of start investigating why didn't you respond to certain people. So, and also job bank, they can contact job seekers to verify information submitted in your LMIA. I don't think they do it with all the job seekers. I've seen it with other streams that it is done, especially for like high wage positions. So make sure you contact everyone, like, and make sure that like every resume, like for eligible candidates, is pre-screened. And again, you must keep all these records for 6 years. And since a lot of stuff is like kept electronically right now, my recommendation would be to keep the screenshots, to download those resumes. If someone is making notes on those resumes, to download those handmade notes, because you might be asked for those during the 6 years as your employer compliance window. Okay, now we're gonna do a quick demo. Hope I'll be able to. So, you able to see my screen with the job bank? Gonna do edit a little bit.
Yes.
Yes, okay, excellent. So basically, like we sign in, like as an employer. I'm going to use a combination of my personal and Carg job bank account, so I won't be able to show you everything because like some information is personal. Yeah, we may kind of jump from time to time, but this is important. That's what I was saying. To avoid processing delays, all job bank employer files must include a business owner or director who is registered with the Canada Revenue Agency. Learn how you can add owner or director to your employer file. Again, you can kind of click here. It's loading. We'll go back to that. I'm going to sign in now. There are 5 security questions, and if you don't remember, like you can ask for another one. I'm gonna go and look at employers, for example. If we look at this is an example of users. So these are the users like of the job bank, and right now I'm as a primary officer. Like if we are to do the job advertisement, it needs to be like changed. But in order to add the user, you just click add the new user, and you need to look for email address. So remember, like I mentioned, that whoever wants to be added needs to have a personal account as a job seeker, like a plus account. And all you need to do to have a job bank account is to have a social insurance number. And once this person has an account, you just enter the email address that was used for that account, and you will be able to add it. My messages, this is important. This is another thing that I mentioned, like that a lot of messages will be sent to the primary user, primary officer, who like is a director of the company. So whoever is managing the job bank account need to check it from time to time. We can see the job postings and applicants and matches. So this is what we have for the direct apply. So basically we'll use the resumes, like we can see the number of resumes, and like there is the job, and you can see like a resume that was submitted. It has a legend like Canadian citizen, permanent resident, temporary resident, express entry candidate, so someone from overseas. For the LMIA, you only need to consider people that have a Canada flag, so that are Canadian or permanent residents. But we look here and we can see like we can like retain applicant. I can download the resume, so basically like whatever you, and save that resume, that what was downloaded. He's actually like, yeah, like he's in Turkey right now. Oh, sorry, I have moved to the wrong window. Okay, so that's kind of like a little bit what I can also do for the job posting. I'm gonna try to demonstrate you how to create a job posting. Use create a new job posting. So for example, I'm creating a new job posting for Clark, and with process with the job title, I need to enter a job title. And that's where you can either search for the titles or you can browse for whatever is available. For example, we have farm equipment operator. Farm equipment operator. And you do the search and it like read it, like find the one that is more kind of customized, that more applicable to your position. Make sure that it's not a mechanic. Again, I'm just doing it like randomly. And proceed to target audience. Default, like we kind of do it by default. Who we would like to have, like Canadians, authorized workers, or international candidates. You can, like, I always choose Canadians, but at the same time, like, you must remember that, like, it doesn't matter, like, international applicants will still apply. Targeted audience, like, choose all of it. I would probably choose all of it. Again, like for other advertisement, you actually need to prove that you are advertising among underrepresented groups, and this is not considered as separate advertising, but here I would like choose all of it. And work location, like business location, you need to include like a business address. You need to include a secondary job location if it's there. I'm often asked like what kind of location if we have multiple locations. So my question would be, if you are to invite somebody for an in-person job interview into your office or into your job site, where would it be? Or if you are to give like a performance review, like have a performance review meeting with an employee, where would it be? Days, how long it will be posted. 30 days is maximum. After, like, you need to extend it. Period of employment, like permanent job start date, specific start as soon as possible. For the LMIA job advertisement, like for the LMIA, you can like submit an application for the job that starts within the 6 months, not like after the 6 months. Again, when you do your LMIA application, it doesn't actually matter what start date. I recommend to put like, if you are to hire someone from Canada, when would you hire somebody? Like in 2 weeks, next month, January 1st. If you put the date that is sooner, it wouldn't affect your LMIA application. It won't be processed by that particular date. So it's kind of a moving target. It doesn't affect March. Hours of work, like full-time. So basically, like I would say morning, day. Compensation type, so let's say specific salary, per hour, hours, fixed 40 hours a week. So kind of make sure you include all of that. And this is your first kind of compliance thing, because once the advertisement is posted, like this is a part like how like your job is looked at Service Canada, and they can say you advertised for this, but you're not providing that. So that's an in compliance. You need to absolutely include, if you are providing benefits, the benefits must be included in the advertisement. So I'm just proceeding. Number of vacancies, I put 3. And specific date, I put it as soon as possible. And education, like again, no degree, certificate, or diploma, whatever you're hiring. Make sure that if you're hiring in a low skilled position, it's not considered as an excessive demand for the education and for the experience as well. Also, you need to remember that if you are looking for like at least 6 months experience, or for example, 7 months to less than 1 year, if a person is applying for this job for the work permit from overseas, they need to prove that they have 7 months to less than 1 year experience, and they need to prove it with the job references, with the proof that they were employed, that there was a payroll source deduction, and so on. So depending on the country, it might be difficult. So you kind of need to balance it. At the same time, Like once you submit your job advertisement and when you start looking for Canadians or permanent residents, you only need to consider applications that meet this minimum experience requirement. So for example, if you put that you need at least 6 months experience in agriculture, if somebody submitted you an application who is a Canadian, but an individual doesn't have experience in agriculture in their resume, they worked in the office setting all the time, this individual doesn't need to be considered. So it's a kind of a balance between like what you are like advertising, what you are considering in terms of like Canadians, and how individuals from overseas can prove their work experience as well. Hope it's not too complicated. Yes, Janet?
I'm just seeing here that Kylie has a question.
Mm-hmm.
Kylie Sims, she's asking clarifying question. If we are not required to continue advertising once we submit the LMIA application,
Mm-hmm.
how do we show proof that the ad ran for two two full weeks up until the submission if the job is not still posted on the job bank and say Indeed, for example?
When you do your LMIA online, like for the job bank, you can choose like past advertisement, like there is a drop down list. And like I will be talking about the proof of advertisement. What you need to do, you need to submit like PDF files, and it should be like a print screen of the like Indeed when the job ad was posted for the first time. So it will have like a screen with the URL and with the date, and you need to do the same for like day number 14, for example, right? Also, some websites, depending where you're advertising, if you go to your employee account, it could show like your advertisement and like when you started advertising, when you finished the advertising. But I will explain it in more detail, like if like later, especially for those ads when you advertise in a community center, for example. How would you prove that? So anyway, we'll go quickly through that. Requirements, I mentioned the requirements, like it's important. Language, we'll put English, but again, like primary agriculture is exempt. And now like you need to kind of find all this fun stuff. I find it like very inflexible because, oh, we probably don't do that. Proceed how to apply. Also with how to apply, that's an interesting thing. You need as an employer to include two methods how a job applicant can apply for a job. Direct apply at the job bank is not considered. It's kind of, it is within the job bank. I had an application that was refused because employer decided to only choose one email. You need to have at least two, and you can add like mail, in-person, telephone, email, online. I remember I did a job ad for a farmer in Saskatchewan, and I put a telephone. He was very upset with me because he was receiving phone calls from Pakistan at 4 in the morning. So be mindful of that. But I would say like mail and email like are the most common, and it also gives you some record because the email, you can see that yes, somebody emailed me at this day. You can prove it to Service Canada. Same with mail, like put your PO mailbox, for example. And yeah. So that's kind of important. And if there isn't an alternative email, use alternative. I put the phone number. I just don't want to like, so again, like you put the time when like you want to get the calls, but expect that you can get them anytime. And yeah, you can ask like screening questions, job matching mode, keep it on the default. Will you use artificial intelligence in your hiring process? That if you're using any like ATS and so on, you must disclose that as well. And this is the job ad. I'm not submitting it. I just want to see where is the direct apply. Should be, yes, then this is the direct apply. Yes, I want to keep the direct apply. So I'm gonna switch back to my computer and just talk a little bit more about the job advertisement. This is like Janet will send you the slides. So this is the link for that technical webinar with Job Bank. Like I recommend you before January, like try to browse, browse, try to see whether you can like post the job, who is the primary officer, try to add, maybe not hear back from job bank, and you will be able to answer get some questions answered at this webinar. Also for the job advertisement content, and this is important as well, like the job bank ad is very like inflexible. So you need to kind of choose what the job bank is feeding you. If you're doing an advertisement in another source, for example, Indeed, or you're posting the job ad at the community board, there are very clear guidelines and requirements what must be included into this job ad. And it needs to have like a company operating name, like business address, title of the position, job duties, like from the no code, like all the job duties, terms of employment, whether it's like permanent, whether it's like seasonal, wage. If you're planning to pay bonuses, you can also say like might get a bonus in the end of the year up to like certain amounts. You can also put the wage range, but for the wage range, the minimum wage must be that minimum wage that you have to pay like for your commodity. Benefits package, if it's offered, like multiple applications were refused because we didn't say dental like or health benefits provided. Location of work, like rural area, land location, like you need to be very specific. Contact information, as I mentioned, 2 options must be included. And skills requirement, including education and work experience. And consider if you have any people that have already been like pre-identified for this job, and it happens sometimes, like, right? Like we interviewed somebody who was referred to us. I would like this person. We would like to interview this person. We would like to hire this person. And we've done the job advertisement. This person is in Vietnam. And in our job advertisement, we put that we would like an individual to have at least high school diploma. I don't know, because they have to be able to count whatever. And this individual doesn't have a high school diploma. So now this individual cannot get a work permit. So kind of remember that as well. This is an example of job advertisement from Indeed. I was trying to find an advertisement for like a mushroom position. So it has like a description of the company. It includes responsibility, requirements, skills, and qualifications, like the salary, like I like it, like that's a good one. I will also share, this is like a template that I use for the job advertisement, like where we have a description, we have like talk about wage, working hours, location, health benefits, and kind of like list all the qualifications, list all the responsibilities. For the qualifications also, what you can say that like a farming experience is required, will be an asset but not required, like, right, just kind of like, or like you must say that somebody needs to be like physically fit and so on. Janet, sorry.
Great. I was just gonna say we were talking offline. It just as people should what they could start to do even today, set up a separate email that you'll be using for the job count. The name, and correct me if I'm wrong, Victoria, should be the name of the person like on the CRA. It's attached to the CRA, but you should have the HR person and the primary person both have access because you're going to get lots of resumes coming in. And you can sort of filter with Canada and international now. You'll see a Canada flag, but you're still going to get lots. So you need to have it go to a separate account. So you should start to do these kind of steps now and get as many LMIAs down now before these requirements go into play.
Yeah, I would say that exactly, like have a separate email address for your, like you probably have a separate email address, but just like make sure you have it. For the job bank, like for the primary user, again, like if the director will probably want to use their email address, but like it doesn't need to be included in the job advertisement. But yeah, so I quickly go through that. We're getting over time. Also, very often, like company operating name could be different from like a name registered with Canada Revenue Agency. So you need to like make sure both are listed. like benefits, like as I say, skills requirements, working conditions. And again, this is how you can actually disqualify some of the people that are applying. Like you can say, okay, you applied for a job. Are you able to lift up to 50 pounds? Like, and if they say no, then like the person is not fit for the job. Proof of advertisement, and that was the question. So basically, like when you're submitting your LMIA, you need to provide a proof where, when, and for how long the position was advertised, or proof of other activities, like for example, if you participated in the job fair. Where is like the address of the website, and the URL, like the internet address of that particular job advertisement. When, like you will see, like it will be on the website, right? It will be the address, like indeed.ca, for example. And for how long? That's when I was talking about those screenshots, when like there is a date and time. Like again, some best practices for the job advertisement. Have a designated individual in the company who will administer and monitor those advertisements. Like, so somebody will post the advertisement, somebody will double check that everything that is posted on the advertisement meets this criteria: operating name, working conditions, like benefits offered or not offered. Someone will make a screenshot on the day 1 of this public job advertisement, on the day 7 and on the day 14 at least, and save those screenshots in the computer. Keep log of all your advertising activities. Just have like a spreadsheet, like I advertised on Indeed from this date, advertisement number, just kind of, and this is the URL, like for you to like have it. As I mentioned, like screenshots, use timestamp when doing screenshots. So for example, you can do like print as a PDF, right? And it, like if you have your settings like set for show date and time and show the website address, like Service Canada will be happy with that. Or like there is like a screen capture extension you can have in your like Google Chrome, and it will save you the whole page, and it will also save the address and the date when it was saved. Or for example, if you're advertising, this is like an AI generated image, but if you're advertising in the newcomer center, there is a job advertisement and the phone, like when the advertisement was posted. I will do the same on the day 7 or on the day 14th. I will also have a picture of the door, like of this job or newcomer center, and the address. And I will also have a letter from a manager of this particular office saying that the company XYZ has been advertising at our job bulletin from this date till this date. Their job ad was displayed at our bulletin, like picture is attached. And we have approximately like 50 people coming to our office on a weekly basis. So, and like signature, an email address, or if they have any questions, please contact us. That would work as well. Also for the resumes, like have the separate email address. Check the incoming resumes once or twice a week at least, including that direct apply on the job bank. And also again, like for like streamline, try to have like those like templates ready to use. Like, thank you, we received your resume. We will contact you if we see that you qualify for the job, right? So that they wouldn't actually complain to the job bank that you don't talk to them. Yes, Janet?
And the other thing about it, I was told that they actually watch, you have to down all these ones with the Canadian flag that come in, you have to download them. They actually watch that you download them. It's those kind of things. Otherwise, they'll make you do it again and start over or whatever. You get in trouble. So back to you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Sorry for keeping you, like, I will try to finish it in like 10 more minutes. Like rejection letter, like we received your resume, however, you don't meet the minimum experience requirements. We are looking for people with at least 6 months of experience in agriculture in the past 5 years. Therefore, like we are rejecting you. Or clarification, please clarify that you are physically in Canada, you have an authorization to work in Canada, B, you can lift up to like 50 pounds. And like if they clarify that, like then you can probably like have another template for the phone interview. So try to automate it as much as you can. and keep track of all the incoming resumes. You can use an Excel spreadsheet. I will provide like the template that we are using, or like if you're using like an applicant tracking system like Zoho, Jazz, like it will require some time to tweak it in as well. So yeah, that's the like the template that I'm using for advertising activities. So I put the dates and the job board, like Indeed, like from like December 1st till December 14th. Like who submitted the application, like the name of the individual, date when I received the application, date when I reviewed it, qualified yes or no, some comments like, or for example, you will probably receive a lot of applications from those individuals that are just applying for a job for the sake of applying, and they may not even get like contact you back, but you need to keep a record that this Canadian applied for a job. I tried to reach this Canadian on this date via email and on this date via email, and I received no response. You need to keep a track of that as well. Date phone interview, your comments, and hired, not hired, start date, comments. So kind of have it all in one place. Again, these records must be kept for 6 years, and this is what you need to submit with your job advertisement. Some people choose to submit the whole tracking sheet, like you don't need to. You can say like applicant ABC, like applicant A, Canadian permanent resident, didn't respond to 2 emails, like sent. Applicant B, like was like showed up for an interview, but wasn't like decided not to get a job because it was too physically demanding, or they got job somewhere else. So you need to provide a summary for all the applications, and this is where you're going to be like scrutinized by Service Canada. Okay, I think this one, like everyone probably knows that LMIA online portal, like we use the same login. I love those videos that they have, like video tutorials, like for how to submit an application, like it's perfect. So if you're just trying to kind of learn more about that, look at those videos. I really like that. And employee dashboard, you're probably aware of that as well. I like that copy LMIA, like when you can just copy your previous LMIA, don't need to start it from all of the beginning. I find it's hard, like also, like since like everything is online, my recommendation is like once you submit your application, download the copy, and like actually like the download is kind of very like finicky for me. Like you need to download it, and it will open at your like downloaded folder as a initial final snapshot file, which is not a PDF or like Word, but you can actually open it with PDF, because you need to have it like in case you lose then access to your job bank, something happens, like you need to have a copy of that LMIA, like have it. And you need to also have it like when you have a phone interview with the Service Canada officer. It's much easier to have it on paper, make some notes, rather than like navigate the job bank, try to log in, or see that something is not loading because like they have some technical issue. Document uploads, like this is just kind of, if you are using any documentation, make sure the labeling is consistent. 6 megabyte is the maximum. Like, and for example, I had a client who thought that he submitted an application and he didn't hear anything from Service Canada, but he actually forgot to do an attestation and press the submit button. So there is a video like to make sure like how it's submitted. Also to check, you can go to your dashboard and the status should be received by Service Canada. Okay, I think, Janet, maybe we'll talk at the compliance at the webinar number 2. Like we'll still send this file, these files. It's just about penalties and compliance framework. And also
Yes.
have links and resources, since like you would like to do your part right now as well, right?
Yes.
Okay, sorry we were taking you for so long. Do you want me to share screen, or are you sharing your screen?
Oh, yeah, I wasn't planning on sharing the screen.
Okay,
Can
so
you
you want me to
share?
share it?
Yeah,
Okay.
you share the PowerPoint. I'll just say next slide.
Okay,
So we
effectively.
thank everyone for your patience. We know this is going over time, but I think we just got to power through this because a lot of this is really important. We need to get as many LMIAs as possible in before Christmas, obviously, before these new, it's kind of a new level of bureaucracy with these job ads, as you can see, with all these things that are job connect and match and all this. So, and we'll be helping you with that as we get more information, but get as many as possible in now because it doesn't apply now. And I just want to mention and thank, we have IOM, which is a part of the United Nations on this call today. Astrid, thank you for joining the call today. We're going to be working with IOM and Iris again on ethical recruitment with the new labor project in the new year. I asked Astrid to join, and we thank her, the IOM team, for joining. I just also want to say, just going through a couple things here, following the call here, like maybe Thursday, we're hoping to have the video, the two PowerPoints here, other supporting documents like our immigration consultant list. Victoria is a professional consultant that can help with work permits and LMIAs, both troubleshooting as well as submitting. And also, I think we bought the CARC HR toolkit, which we'll be able to make available to all of our mushroom grower members, which will have all kinds of support. And then again, this video and the PowerPoints all to go in one package to help you guys navigate what's upcoming. And for Ontario members, we're going to have a WSIB upcoming webinar next week. And so that webinar invite will go out tomorrow. So yeah, so I just want to go through that with you. And also, we're lobbying very hard. We know the bureaucracy is increasing and the processing times are increasing and deteriorating. So when I send out an email, because I'm going to be emailing all the MPs that we met in the fall, asking to send a template letter about the processing issues and the agri-food immigration pilot, and ask them to send it now, like before Christmas. I will CC the farm, the farm board of director, as well as the HR person from the farm. So please work together to then reply all, say something to the MP, thank them for the meeting, encourage them to help support us because now is really important. We really need to get like the agri-food immigration pilot back, get these work permit processing issues fixed, and get them to help us with the agriculture and fish processing program. So you watch for those emails individually and reply all and talk to your MP. Like it's really, really important because it's your farm is in their riding. And if they help us, we could get some of this stuff fixed. So, yeah, we're working really hard lobbying, but there's a lot of restrictions and we're sort of almost getting squeezed out of the program. So we got to work together to fight to keep agriculture stream as a priority so that you can get access to labor. So that's what we got to work together and pull together to do that. Okay, so here we go into the work permits. So what they used to call implied status is now called interim work authorization. This is what we're trying to achieve. So these are the steps now of what we need to submit and what you should be looking for coming back. So, as we proceed through the process to get either your work permits speeded up if they're taking longer than 4 months and their processing time, or to do these transfers. So today I'm going to focus on the web form and also what I can help with we have a service delivery channel that we work one-on-one, a rep that helps us. So if things are taking longer, both with the work permits generally and with these transfers, which are supposed to be guaranteed in 10 to 15 days, then the service delivery channel is supposed to help us and I can work directly with them, but they're getting very, very picky. So we have to work together to get past this level of the bureaucracy as well. So we're going to focus on the web form and the immigration service delivery channel, which I can send and help things get moving. Next slide. So this is when you go into the web form, this is the exact link that you need to go into. And I have screen captures here. We're just going to go through them very quickly. This is what you need to look for. You need to click on other. So this is what's in the PowerPoint. There'll be a longer form version of it. But these are the things you need to look for when you go into the web form to get in the right area. Because if you don't and send it to the wrong area, then it gets ignored. If we don't send it with the representative form, it'll get ignored. So I'm helping you get into the form correctly and how to move this forward. So next slide. So this is the next piece that you need. You need to say you're doing it on behalf of the applicant. And this is why you need the representative form, which we're going to be talking about next. So this is what we are doing is for temporary residents. So you have to find that in the drop-down menu in this area for selecting your option. So next slide. So this is the key part. So this is where the coded information that they're providing us, which gives us the 10 to 15 days. It's gone up to 15, but we're going to fight to retain it at that 15. That's what they've promised. You've got to put the coded copy and paste information into this part, which is called tell us about your request. So I would call it like sort of the subject portion of this web form, but that's where it goes exactly. You have to put it there, otherwise they will not help you with the web form. And for the non-coded ones, we say urgent and primary agriculture undue hardship. I was given that tip a long time ago, and I use that consistently to get their attention. So that's undue hardship, primary agriculture is one way, and then this coded uh, message is the other way to get them to look at it and actually do something. Okay, next slide. So this is the exact wording. It has to go in the subject for these transfers. So this is not for like normal, weird, slow processing. This is for the transfers. And you have to copy and paste this and fill in the little blanks. And they're very specific. This is the new wording because they started this during COVID and now COVID's gone. So they made this a permanent process, thank God. And now this is the new wording outside of COVID that we put into that subject area of the web form and fill in all the blanks. Next slide. So the key points are, like I said, they're getting very picky. For the transfers, they only want what we call the IMM 5476 form. This is a different form that we've been using. We just found out about this fall because other people are having challenges that we had to redo a bunch of things. So they've switched it up. They want the 5476 form. They only want the pertinent details like first name, last name, work permit number, and the UCI number. Proof of web form submission, both for the use of representative form and the web form submission. We have to save the names now in the PDF separately. So these are, and you have, for these web forms, you have to submit it one at a time. But it's worth it if we can get it to move to 15 days, especially for these transfers. And also will be sped up for the other things as well. It's worth it. But we don't call it expedited. They don't like that. They're not allowed to jump the queue, but we ask them to review it. And that's how we get around all of these rules. So you have to put the name of the worker in the IMM 5476 and also include that in it. And the web form, say web form and the name of each worker. And then once this goes in the web form, this is for the transfer specifically that they've become super, super picky, then it can come to me. And then I can send it to a service delivery rep. And that's really when they look at it. So next slide. This is the 5476 new form for, it's called the use of representative. It's a little bit different than what we were using was the 5475. So get rid of your 5475s. That's my advice. Do not use them. Delete them from the system and only use this one. So this one we have the package that's going out, I will be sending out this 5476 form as well as where to find it. The way I can tell the difference very quickly, the 5476 is a 4-page form. And they're getting very picky. They want it legible. They want to see the worker, like maybe just use blue ink. They're getting super picky and they will just ignore it and not respond. Or when I send it to my guy, he's like, upload it again and start all over. So this is another way that they're restricting access to these programs. So we have to work together and we can out bureaucrat them by like doing everything that they're saying, and then we're going to be able to move things forward. So next slide. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
So that's it. There'll be a little bit longer form. Like I'll have my PowerPoint and then I'll have Victoria's PowerPoint, which will, walk you through this in the package with the video and access to the HR toolkit from CARC, because we're partnering with them for the project. So that'll all be going out the next day or two. And again, we can work together to overcome the bureaucracy, by doing things exactly how they're saying, and then we're going to be able to get the workers renewed and get the workers which are needed to fill the job vacancies. Thank you.
Okay, well, great. Thank you, Janet. Yes, the CARC toolkit will have a free toolkit access code. You need to use like a partner access. In a partner access, it will say from 129, but for the mushroom industry, it's free. So you won't need to enter your credit card or anything, like it's kind of on the back end. And if you have any questions about toolkit, feel free reaching out to us. Will help you to navigate. It has a lot of resources that are quite useful, but you kind of need to find your way over there as well. And like as a reminder, that webinar with Job Bank on January 13th, it will probably be useful. And once we set a date for the webinar number 2, like with Janet, if you have any questions, what you would like to be covered in the webinar number 2, we were planning to focus more on the compliance. But if there are any other questions, there might be some new things on advertising coming from Service Canada. We will definitely include all this.
So I think we'll do the one with the temporary foreign worker program and the job bank to go through those specifics. We'll just focus on that one as the next one. And I'll be sending out reminders about that. And as soon as we've done that, I'll probably ask for some input, or you guys can just email me directly and let me know, what you think else should be covered. And then we'll do the second one with CARC, which will be like at the end of January or early February.
Okay, great. Are there any questions? Sorry for keeping you for so long. Okay, there was a question, LMIA add employee benefits, if not added, could be denied. Yes, if you are providing the benefits to the employers, like they need to be advertised, and like you need to include it into the application. Okay. Are we wrapping it up, Janet?
Yeah, there was one other thing. I just I sort of lost what that is, but well, I will let everyone know in the if they're yes, yes, yes. We have a meeting that's been promised on renewal work permit issues with the immigration department. I'm hoping that we'll be able to secure that by Christmas. We've been asking for this for a long, long time, like maybe over 6 months. So I'm gonna send a separate email out, probably this, later this week or early next week, where I'll send out our issues and solutions sheet on what are the issues, and if people can respond, what are their current issues, focusing on the renewal piece, and then I'll have a complete list where we can maybe hopefully get some of these issues resolved with work permit renewals going forward before Christmas. So working together on that, I'm very hopeful now that they've said that they'll finally do a meeting with us on that. So just to let you know and watch for that email as well. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Take care, everyone. Email if you